So Parallel is an IP, and we started building games probably about 2.5 years ago now. I'm going to try and entertain you just as much as I educate you here on what we're building and why. I'm going to cover two topics. One is the games that we're working on, the updates around those games, and then secondly, I'm going to cover AI, which is going to be interesting because I'm going to show you something working that I think will be very surprising to a lot of people here. So the first thing around Parallel is mobile. So mobile, for those of you who aren't aware, our game is available today to play in the Epic Store. You can download it on PC. We're going to mobile in Q1, so we're very excited about the distribution and reach this is going to bring to people who don't have really high-end gaming PCs who are going to be able to play the game. The next major thing I think some of the people in the community will be familiar with is that we have our next expansion set coming out, and that expansion set is called Aftermath, but following Aftermath, we're going to be releasing the next set called Deception, which will be kind of a tradecraft-esque set, which we're really excited about. So doing a lot of work to kind of focus on building really high-quality assets for a really compelling game and bring something to the market that maybe people haven't seen before. On top of that, obviously we want to bring in new experiences to obtain items and collectibles in the game. If you're familiar with CSGO crates, this is something that's going to be powered by Prime as well. So the ability to obtain crates and open them up for Prime in the game. So that's the TCG. Then we have Colony. And for anyone who's not familiar with what Colony is actually the world's first 1.5 player or AI simulation game, where you're not actually the player, the AI agent is the player, and all the assets within the simulation are on chain. So I want to show you where we are at today with Colony, give you a little bit of an update from the development team, and then also show you something that I wanted to kind of hold up as well. So.
Agent activated.
Welcome to the Colony player. Since our last update on the game, our teams have made great progress all around. Colony is now fully playable on both iOS and Android devices. We have created richer worlds, expanded our avatars collection, and designed new and engaging NPCs you'll interact with. There are now many more activities and challenges waiting for you. We look forward to welcoming you to Colony very soon.
If anyone here is interested in Colony or has heard about what we're building, where you're not the player, the AI agent's the player, they're passively productive in the simulation, if you want to come and actually try it on my device today, you can come and see where we're at on the build. I'm happy to show you and let you interact with the agents themselves and see how the game works. The next thing I think gaming related that's relevant to talk about is Project Tau Ceti. So one of the things we invested quite a lot in over the last maybe 2 years is something called the Parallel 3D Asset Library, or we nicknamed it PETAL. PETAL is essentially a collection of all the assets represented on our cards that we created 3D rig models of and now actually have allowed a third-party development studio to access and utilize to build a game. Now, originally I want to show you a first look at Project Tau Ceti. We don't know what the actual game will be called yet, but if you have an opportunity to attend, there's an event called Uplink, which is hosted by the foundation, the Echelon Prime Foundation this evening. We'll be actually showing in-game footage from Project Tau Ceti this evening at the Uplink event. But this is just to kind of show you where we're at. We expect that this game will actually, let me go back for a second. Colony, we're expecting to be in market sometime between Q1 and Q2. And this game should probably come out sometime middle of next year. But if you wanted to see more footage of the game, again, we'll be demonstrating and showing that game today at Uplink, which is the Echelon Prime Foundation event. So any game related to Parallel is always powered by Prime, and that will always remain true. The next interesting topic I think that is maybe going to be relevant for people who are interested in AI, is anyone just curious about AI and how it relates? I think one of the last speakers said something really funny. They said, it makes no sense that AI and blockchain can overlap. And I'm actually going to show you exactly why it makes a ton of sense. So Wayfinder is something that we actually worked on as a game studio. And I know a lot of people are probably like, I don't get it. Why is, parallel a game studio building AI technology. And if you think about it, we actually took AI agents in Colony, and they're able to interact with a subset of smart contracts. And we said, hey, what happens if we take the dog off the leash? What happens if we allow it to have access to every network, every smart contract? What's possible with that? And that curiosity brought us to Wayfinder. And Wayfinder is essentially an AI agent that's agnostic of any of our games, that's able to interact and transact across multiple networks. And I'm going to show you that today.
Welcome to a demonstration of Wayfinder's current in-progress capabilities. Log into your Wayfinder account using your email or account name, where you'll be greeted by your primary agent wallet. There are currently two agents, the transaction agent and a creation or contract agent. In the transaction agent, use your local or cloud passkey to authenticate the session and allow the agent to execute transactions on your behalf. Then explore tokens and their organizations using the agent. Build and execute transactions from existing public and user-provided path. Transactions are fully simulated across all chains before executions to be able to see what the impact will be. On the creation agent, you can interact with existing contracts, create new contracts, turn any activities into a function, and then submit that function to be a publicly accessible wayfinding path. When deploying contracts, the agent gathers requirements and any dependency contracts from you and does an initial coding pass. The contract is sent to a critic to point out any obvious security issues and logic flaws and proposes corrections. You can then choose to deploy a contract. In that case, the agent will add the required arguments and deploy the contract on your behalf to your chosen chain. After the deployment, the agent generates a custom contract webpage for you to share with users outside of Wayfinder to be able to easily interact with contract operations. For function and path creation, the creation agent can also help users create functions or public path that allows other users' transaction agent to reference them. The agent gathers requirements and any dependent contracts or relevant example contracts for the function. The function is then coded up and a test is created to try to ensure that it will run as intended. You can now use the function within the creation agent, or they can finalize and turn them into public path, where users will be able to access them through the transaction agent. The ability to create and share public path and functions enables users to contribute to a growing repository of on-chain activities, increasing the reach and utility of decentralized applications. We look forward to welcoming you to the platform.
So what you just saw there, I think probably people are going to be a little bit like, what did I just witness? Essentially, what you have is an agent that has access to a wallet on every network, the ability to contribute a smart contract to any network, the ability to transact across networks. So we talk about chain abstraction and the ability for consumers to interact and engage with this stuff. This is a very early version that's going to be available in a closed alpha in the next 5 to 6 weeks to the public. What we're talking about here is not having to worry about wallets and using different wallets, not having to worry about bridging and understanding how to use different bridges, not being able to explain what token you just heard about, getting information about it and purchasing it or selling it or doing whatever you want. But we're also talking about ability to contribute to any network. One of the limiting factors that we kind of think about here is, if you're not a developer, it might be very difficult for you to contribute to an ecosystem or a token that you're really interested in. If you wanted to build a smart contract that consumes, if you wanted to say, I want to build a smart contract that consumes 1,000 Prime, and if you hold it in that contract for 100 days, give them X, Y, or Z, you just dictate that, and it'll deploy it to mainnet, and then create a front end on top of that so that people can interact with it. So essentially what you can expect is a Cambrian explosion of the vast majority of the transactions on-chain happening by AI agents in the next 12 to 24 months maximum. And that's Wayfinder. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go to wayfinder.ai. And thank you very much for your time. If you want to check out, talk about Parallel, I'll be here with some of my team. If you want to talk about Colony, happy to show you that. And if you want to talk about Project Tauceti, please come to the Uplink Echelon event. Just really appreciative to be back here again, and I thank everyone for their time, and I hope you have a wonderful and safe trip. Thank you.